You don't understand what you're involved in.
You need to walk away.
Please don't make me go through you.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
Ethan, that's not who we are.
Maybe we need to reconsider that.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from Hawaii, here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, back from vacation in California, Los Angeles, back here on Oahu. And this weekend, you know, as everyone knows, what opened up? Mission Impossible Fallout. I don't know what part this is, part 6, part 7 maybe? But of course it stars Tom Cruise, Vince Vaughn, Simon Pegg, Alec Baldwin, and a whole host of other characters who return, and also some new ones like, Henry Cavill with the mighty mustache that doesn't look out of place here. And the film also stars Rebecca Ferguson returning as the MI6 agent from Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. And remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's bad to see, it's junk. And for Mission Impossible Fallout, a direct sequel to Rogue Nation, it is a shock a thumbs up. That being said, I did find that Rogue Nation was a superior film with much more action and a easier to follow and understand plot. But that being said, Fallout does have a number of twists and turns that do make it interesting. The amount of stunt work that Tom Cruise brings to this franchise, and especially with this one, with a halo jump that he did himself, a leap across buildings where he broke his ankle and then still proceeded to get up, which is in frame in the movie, and limp off screen so that he could finish that take before calling for the ambulance, is amazing. And, you know, we find it hard to believe that anybody else other than Tom Cruise could continue this series. But I feel that with Fallout, they do leave it in a place that if Tom Cruise wanted to stop doing these movies, he easily could. It's kind of a nice conclusion. Someone else could easily come in and take over the franchise from here. That being said, there has been no notice that Tom Cruise is interested in leaving this franchise, at least, you know, for 1 or 2 or even up to 4 more films, possibly. That all just remains to be seen. Now, this movie was the #1 draw for the weekend, box office, getting close to $62 million for the weekend, with Mamma Mia Part 2 coming in second behind, Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible Fallout. It is, like I said, weaker than Rogue Nation. However, it did do better. It is the best of the franchise, box office-wise. And it feels very much more akin to, say, 1, 3, 4, and 1, 3, 4, and I think 5, unless 5's Rogue Nation, and akin to the use of the masks, the use of the Mission Impossible kind of things that you've grown accustomed to, that your parents had grown accustomed to with the series itself. from TV, that kind of misdirection, prestidigitation, magic almost, with the masks and the voice changing. They do a lot of that in this one, whereas they didn't do so much maybe in 2 they did do a lot of that, but it was highly more actionized. And then in Rogue Nation, not so much of the masks or those kind of plots, which is why I think those 2 are the stronger of the films of this entire franchise, 2 and Rogue Nation. That being said, like I said, this is a good direct sequel. We find ourselves matched with the villain from last time, along with a new villain, and 3 nuclear bombs that are on the loose by this terrorist organization, this anarchist organization, that will see them used in such a manner as to overthrow and destabilize the current governments around the world. And so Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise's character, must find these bombs and those responsible and bring them to justice. And so it is a good ride. If you're looking for an action flick, there's probably none better right now, other than maybe, second best right now at the theaters would be, of course, The Equalizer. But this one just had that much bigger of a budget, that much bigger of a cast, and all the legacy stories to go with it. So of course it's going to beat out The Equalizer. But, those kind of movies are along the same vein of existence, and there seems to be no end of them in sight. And I certainly hope that they continue on. I hope that Tom Cruise can continue doing these stunts, although he is, of course, risking life and limb. And, at $62 million for the box office, is that, some question, is that enough for him to continue to risk life and limb when he definitely doesn't have to? When, say like a movie like Ant-Man, where the action is more computer generated, all the stunts maybe a little bit more with full stuntman and CGI, make so much more money than somebody, risking life and limb, doing the stunts themselves, just for the benefit of the audience. That has to come into question and come into play. At what point does it just not become feasible to do this any longer? And that's a question that I'm sure the studio will present to Tom Cruise, and maybe use that to muscle him out of this franchise eventually. Especially if it comes to a point where he barely dodges, death more significantly than any of the other times. As he is getting older, he's in his almost mid-50s now. How many more movies like this that he has, who knows? But definitely a shaka thumbs up for Mission Impossible Fallout. Go ahead and see it, especially if you are a strong fan of the Mission Impossible or you like action-oriented movies in general. Again, I found Part 2 is my favorite, followed by Rogue Nation, and now this one. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying aloha.